Next goal is to sell a piece and break 6 figures.
Nice.
Getting close, but it takes time. I'm not in a rush. It's a journey.
I love that mindset. A lot of people try to rush that.
You can't. You got to be patient.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes. Things that rise fast just can fall as fast. I mean, you look at certain things in crypto and stocks. That's like the biggest red flag is if you have a hockey stick, you shouldn't be.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Got Daniel Allen Cohen here. He has made this beautiful piece for me right here. It's my favorite art piece I own, man. Thank you so much. And thanks for coming on.
Thank you, man. It came out great. I'm very happy with it. And today, more than ever, people are addicted to consuming content and podcasts. And you are just nonstop crushing it. So it couldn't be in a better spot.
Yeah. Podcasts seem like the new really mass mainstream media consumption right now.
Legacy media is dead.
Yeah.
You are doing the right thing at the forefront. And I'm having to do the same thing, create my own content, tell my story. That's what people are attracted to today more than ever.
Right, because before you were probably behind the scenes a little more, kind of doing pieces for like celebrities, but now you're taking a step back.
I looked at it that same way. I didn't see Phil Knight on the face of Nike. The CEO or the owner isn't at the forefront of their brands. Their content and their storytelling is. So I liked that, but now people want to actually know who I am. They want to know more about me. We have these opportunities to build these parasocial relationships with the people, whether it's on a reality TV show or through the lens of social media where you can get to know someone.
Yeah.
Dan Fleischman obviously is like the hugest preacher of this and made an impact on me to actually take the leap, build the confidence and start sharing my own content, my story through social media. And it's a little bit different. Like I am not my artwork. I am not, this is addictive. It's not like an alias. So it was a little bit of a change, but I'm glad that I'm doing it.
Yeah. So you've tied the two together then rather than keep it separate.
I have my personal Instagram, which is about me, but I think a lot of artists kind of have a little bit more where they want to share their story there behind the scenes. It's not very much integrated, but I have tried to bring that two together for sure. There is a bridging of the gap that's happening there.
Nice. And where did the periodic table art idea come from?
It started actually in 2000 and probably 15. What preceded this was the nutritional fact label.
Oh.
And I stripped that and did narcotic facts. And that was extremely successful because it was something that was familiar that people had seen before, but it was the subtle twist. And no one really reads that. No one's caring about what they're consuming in their body. I mean, more people today now are. There's a little bit more conscious awareness of ingredients. People are actually reading that label, but before, not as much.
Hell no.
Yeah. So that was what started things. And that just was extremely successful. 2015, started selling pieces for 250, 500, 750, 1,000, started getting gallery representation, and it kept growing and building. And then after that kind of sold out and had a success with that, it was like, what's next? So I did the periodic table of elements, but the periodic table of drugs. And those debuted in 2017. First 9 pieces at Scope, which is an art fair during Art Basel, during Art Week in Miami, and just crushed it. Grand Slam, out of the park.
They auctioned it, or how does that work?
So at a fair like that, they're available. It was an edition of 3. There was 3 collector sets, sold out of all 3 of the collector sets.
Wow.
Opening week. And then just I had them also a la carte. So individually, if someone just wanted 1 or 2 or 3, they could buy them by themselves. I didn't want to force people to buy all 9. And then there's some collectors that bought 9 and I released more, and they bought more. They released more and they bought more. So they kind of got addicted to the art collecting process as well. So it's, that people are addicted to everything today.
Yeah.
Whether it's surfing or tennis or paddle or things like sugar. So there is some elements to the truth of like what we're actually consuming, and that connects to the work.
Yeah, I've never been able to identify why certain artists pop off, but being in the space, are you able to catch these guys early and see their trajectory in advance?
I mean, there's things that flop. I mean, I have some great concepts that I'm working on that are tied into AI, but it might just be too early. With certain elements, the same thing. Like I might just have created something before people actually fully understand it, and which is fine. Like things take time. I'm patient.
Right. Some artists don't pop off till they're dead.
Exactly.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some of my collectors want me dead, so the value goes up.
Yeah. I noticed that's the thing, right? It like triples overnight when you die.
Yeah, for sure. There's I'm not going anywhere though. I got a long legacy to live. I'm just getting warmed up.
Yeah. Do you collect other artist stuff?
I do. I think that it's actually a duty and a diligence that artists.
All right, guys, shout out to LinkedIn, today's sponsor. As a B2B marketer, you know how noisy the ad space can be. If your message isn't targeted to the right audience, it just disappears into the noise. Luckily, with LinkedIn ads, you could precisely reach the professionals who are more likely to find your ad relevant. With LinkedIn's targeting capabilities, you can reach them by job title, industry, company, and more. Stand out with LinkedIn ads and start converting your B2B audience into high-quality leads today. LinkedIn ads allows you to build the right relationships, drive results, and reach your customers in a respectful environment. You'll have direct access and build relationships with decision makers. There's over 1 billion members on their platform, 180 million senior level executives and 10 million C-level executives. You'll be able to drive results with targeting and measurement tools built specifically for B2B. In technology, LinkedIn generated 2 to 5x higher return on ad spend than other social media platforms. You'll work with a partner who respects the B2B world you operate in. 79% of their content marketers said LinkedIn produces the best results for paid media. Me personally, I've found some great podcast guests, and it's been an incredible platform for finding out new information. Start converting your B2B audience into high quality leads today. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/social to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/social. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be.
Have to collect art. It almost should be a prerequisite.
Wow.
Because if you expect people to buy your art and invest in you, you got to show the reciprocity, and you got to collect from others people as well. It's like, why not? If you have the expectation that you're only expected to receive, you have a short-sighted mindset. You got to give. You got to either trade artwork with your other artists. I mean, that's the majority of the artwork that's up in my house is artwork that I traded with others.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's actually smart.
Bartering is the newest currency today.
I love bartering.
Same. I love bartering too. Whether it's places to stay, things to do, experiences. It's the best form today.
I've saved so much money bartering for hotels and cruises and travel. Oh my gosh. And restaurants.
Yeah.
Like literally might be 6 figures at this point.
Yeah. It's great. And people today, especially depending on how much social clout you have, that can add so much value in the bartering process too, is trading for a post or trading for a travel plan. So it's awesome.
It's cool to see you acknowledge that, because some artists are so like protective of their work, and they're not willing to barter because they just want money or whatever.
You got to give. Giving is so infectious. I genuinely enjoy giving. I was going to make this piece with zero expectation. And the value of when an artist can do and be selfless and just give without having any expectation of return is great things can come. It might take some time, but like someone's going to see this piece in a year, a month, 2 years from now, and there's going to be maybe a follow and a conversion. It's going to lead to something somewhere.
Right.
You got to believe that it is. But if you don't take that shot to actually make that investment into building that relationship with someone by using your artwork for the means of giving people joy or happiness, or sharing your work for other people to enjoy, you're not going to eventually grow. And growing is everything. You got to go grow. You got to go. Right.
And art seems to, like the good art at least, seems to appreciate at a pretty substantial rate from what I've studied.
Yeah. The traditional fine art world, the blue chip art world, has pretty much outgrown every asset class that's out there. It's beaten the stock market. It's beaten
even crypto.
I think so. I mean, that's one thing. It might not, but there's so much volatility in crypto. There's with art, you have a lot of manipulation. It's one of the last industries that's really kind of not really regulated. You have some regulation with kind of like having to know who your buyers are.
Yeah.
And
what do you mean by that?
So there's something that is within the art world, and there's AML, which is like the anti-money laundering, and then there's the KYC, which is know
crypto
your customers.
Has that too.
Yeah, KYC, know your customers. So auction houses, dealers, now in certain countries have to know who their customers are, so that they.
It's not like a mafia or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's trying to money launder.
Notoriously, art has been a means for money laundering, which is great. Diamonds too. I mean, diamonds have funded plenty of wars over history.
Right.
And art, I wouldn't say has done the same thing, but there's been crazy situations in art, like do you know the piece by Da Vinci, Salvator Mundi? You've recognized it.
Yeah, I probably recognize it.
So in 2005, this piece was bought at an estate auction for $10,000.
That's it?
Yeah, it's
Why was it so low?
They couldn't verify that it was real at the time. So they couldn't verify that it was real at the time. So they went through a few years of restoration. In 2013, the piece sold by a Swiss dealer for $75 million after it was like legitimately verified.
Crap.
He flipped it the same year to a Russian billionaire for $127 million. In 2017, it sold at Christie's for $450 million.
Damn.
Half a bill.
That's nuts.
Yeah, 10 grand to half a bill.
My friend has the biggest Basquiat collection in the world.
Wow.
Similar story. This girl was selling it for thousands because she couldn't verify it, and she had like hundreds of them.
Yeah.
I think she charged like a couple thousand each. The company that was verifying his work no longer existed, so he had to go to the FBI, get forensic analysis on every single piece. They were all Basquiat pieces.
Yeah.
So it's the biggest collection in the world.
There's a lot of diligence, provenance that has to go into the secondary market world because historically there's been so much fraud. And so it's hard to like legitimately verify, especially after some of these people have passed away. Like who are these custodians and duties, a part of the estate that are going to verify things when there's just, I mean, you look at some of the things that are coming out of China, they're just perfect replicas. It's hard to legitimately justify what's real and not real today, especially in the art world.
Those Chinese, man, they know how to duplicate everything.
I mean, there's other countries. Turkey too is really good. I mean, Turkey's legendary with the luxury handbags. I went into a spot in Turkey, and you walk into what looks like a silk shop, and then you go behind the scenes, and that's where all the Birkins are. And these Birkins are.
It's 1-to-1.
I know people that have bought in Birkins, and then they flipped them on the real.
No,
the real couldn't even verify that they were fake.
Holy
that good
crap!
Yeah, Turkey's on another level too with their replicas.
I've seen Rolexes 1-to-1 these days.
Yeah.
Like even the weight, because that used to be the easy tell, the weight or the movement. But no, they're so good these days.
Yeah, a lot of it's wild. I know you see guys flexing watches, and you're like,
yeah, you always question it.
Yeah,
I mean, there's certain guys that have one real and one fake, and they wear the fake one out, which makes sense if it's a $500,000 watch.
Yeah.
Oh, if you get robbed, here you go.
Yeah, exactly. In places like Los Angeles, San Francisco, absolutely. Like that's the smartest thing that you could possibly do.
Yeah, I would never wear a watch in one of those cities. Where do you live at?
I moved to Miami 9 months ago.
From LA?
10 months ago from LA, yeah. It was time to go. LA's, my home, born and raised, Southern California. Loved it there, but there's so much growth happening in Miami.
Yeah.
It's one of the best places to be. I kind of describe it as like the first day of school. There's so many people that have been there after the pandemic that everyone's so welcoming and inviting. That's so unique. It's kind of like what LA had, in 2010.
Especially for art.
For art. Right now, there's not a lot of growth for art in Los Angeles. In Miami, you have tons of empty walls, so people are wanting to buy art in Miami. And my art really resonates with the Miami culture. It's about luxury and consumerism. People want flashy stuff that's going to get attention.
100%.
People see it on the wall. It's going to spark a conversation. Some people want decoration. Other people want things that are going to have that impact.
Yeah. Have you ever done an Art Basel activation?
I have. Yeah.
Nice.
So in the most immersive Art Basel activation that I did was in 2019. I created an immersive chemistry classroom. It was after Albert Hoffman, the guy who synthesized LSD. It was the Albert Hoffman University. So there was 2 school desks with notepads, backpacks. There was a professor's desk. It was the debut of the periodic table of drugs. So there was chemistry equipment, lab coats, whiteboard. It was a very fun experience, but I've been showing out there since 2016. Started at Scope, which is one of the very cool emerging art fairs that's on the beach on South Beach. Had 2 great first years there. Was the gallery's best-selling artists out of probably like 5 to 6 artists.
Damn.
Which is good, like for my first years. And then was very lucky to make my way into 2 other art fairs called Context and Art Miami, which are some of the leaders ones. They're in the commercial space, they're at the top. There's Art Basel as an art fair is in its own league. It's blue chip, it's secondary market, it's artists that are really thriving. But it's institutional art. Where Art Miami is artists that are creating very cool contemporary art that has a commercial appeal that's that people are interested. It's relevant art.
Yeah.
So I've been showing there for since then, and just always growing, doing new things. This year I have a cool concept. We'll see if it comes together though.
Nice. I've seen some crazy shows out there.
Yeah.
People spend a lot of money on their shows, man.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And people spend a lot of money on art out there. It's really like the last hurrah for people at the end of the year. You know, before New Year's, before the holidays, they go out there with a bang. And some people have those champagne problems where they need to burn a little bit of money. And they want
little tax write-off.
Exactly. It's a tax write. That's one of the best things about buying art is there's some amazing companies out there, Microsoft, UBS, that have these massive art collections. They started buying and their collection started appreciating, but you know, it's a little bit of a tax write-off because they're putting up in their offices. It's creating decor. But at the same time, it's a tax write-off for them
That's
too.
That's brilliant because it's an asset too. They could probably take a loan out against it if they ever needed to.
Yeah, depending on the right artwork, they absolutely can borrow against it.
No, my friend who has the Basquiat collection has done that with his pieces. And he'll get like pretty good deal on it too.
Yeah. And there's obviously other ways like fractional ownership too, which I'm not the biggest fan of, like Masterworks. It's an interesting model.
They sponsor a lot of shows.
They do. It's a lot of fees, a lot of commissions.
Yeah, that's how they make their money though, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is a business at the end of the day, but I just don't like the idea of owning something that I can't look at every day and enjoy and see and appreciate.
If I'm going to own a piece, I want it in my living room.
Yeah. And most of the artists that are on there are dead. And I think that it's a duty for people, if they're going to buy art from emerging artists and support up-and-comers.
Yeah.
Be patrons. Like back in the day, the royal families were the patrons of some of the artists. And back then that was all the culture is art. So it's good to support art. Makes you feel good.
Right.
Gives you good feelings. And you know, you get to surround yourself with what makes you what you enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the most you've seen an art piece sell for?
Like mine?
Yours, yeah, but also just in general.
Well, that piece that we talked about before, the Salvador Mundi, actually holds the record.
Oh yeah.
But then you have other artists like Jeff Koons, who I think has the most. He has the most auction. He has like the highest auction record consistency. I think Damien Hirst might be one of the wealthiest artists. So there's a lot of artists that are alive today that have had a lot of success. For me, my next goal is to sell a piece and break 6 figures.
Nice.
Getting close, but it takes time. I'm not in a rush. It's a journey.
I love that mindset. A lot of people try to rush that.
You can't. You got to be patient.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes. Things that rise fast just can fall as fast. I mean, you look at certain things in crypto and stocks. That's like the biggest red flag is if you have a hockey stick, you shouldn't be.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Exactly.
What do you think of digital art?
I'm all about it. I mean, I was early into the NFT space in 2019 with Nifty Gateway. Did a release with them, and no one was even paying attention when I was doing posts that I was on there. No one was. So I just did it because I was an early adopter into crypto and I wanted my art in the blockchain.
Yeah.
And then now with AI, I'm using AI to create very cool artwork. I'll show you some stuff after this that I'm working on. It's very, very exciting.
Dude, AI, I got a crazy story, but finish that.
Yeah, it's just in general, there's people who are resistant to it. And I think that is when you see the resistance that people have to newness like that, I lean into it.
Yeah.
Like I know that's the sign of there's something here. But if an artist is starting out and is just doing all their art in AI, it's a little different. If you're already an established artist or you've kind of made a name for yourself and you're using it as a tool, I think that's a little different.
Yeah.
But the context is everything. You can't just use it without having some connection.
Right.
So
use it for inspiration, not to copy paste.
Yeah, to a certain extent, there's so much that you can use it to discover things, like you said, get inspired by something you would never see before.
Right.
That's what I love about it. The things that it spits out
is nuts. I've seen some really cool tattoos lately from AI, actually.
Wow. See, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, no, these tattoo artists are just, people are literally coming up with AI photos and then bringing it to the artist and like, can you paint this on me?
Yeah.
It's nuts.
And now these little videos that are coming too, the software that's able to generate like 5-second little short videos out of it is insane.
Oh, with the clips, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are definitely going to save a lot of people time and money.
Yeah.
But dude, so I go to this biological dentist yesterday right?
A biological dentist.
Yeah, it's like a preventative dentist because
Okay.
most dentists that we've gone to are Western and who knows what they do. But
Fluoride.
yeah, fluoride. First hour, they're taking photos of my mouth. I'm like, what the hell, dude? This is crazy. All of a sudden, they put a computer screen in front of me. All my photos are there. They put it in an AI, and it determines how many cavities I have.
What?
Yes, 9 cavities. So I'm like,
That
holy.
you currently have.
Yeah, because they're able to detect them super early because of the AI. If a doctor
Wow.
were to manually look at it, they might have not even spotted it. So 9 cavities. Not only that, it looks at your gum. I had 2 bacterial infections, which no one would have ever known that. And they told me I needed my wisdom teeth out because of the AI. So that's
take
where
them
the
out.
future of AI is going.
Don't take out the wisdom
You don't
teeth.
think so?
No, that's like, though. There's people who believe that the wisdom teeth is something symbolism. Why is it called a wisdom tooth? It's like there's like a connection that people believe that the people who have them have like superpowers.
Ooh, well, agreed, but mine's actually like causing
Pushing
the
it,
bacterial
yeah.
infection because
Oh,
there's a
yeah,
gap.
yeah.
So I kind of need to.
That's not fun. Dentist. I was at the dentist yesterday, and it's luckily just for like a routine checkup and cleaning in Los
Yeah.
Angeles, but it's not a good place to
No,
be.
I'll never go to a Western one again. So when they fill in cavities, there's forever plastics in them. So I go to a holistic one now that fills them in naturally.
Amazing.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
a lot of stuff you got to look out for in the medical space.
Yeah, but the technology of AI is like it's crazy. Especially, I mean, have you talked to anyone lately about the new iPhone update?
Is that
With OpenAI integrating with iPhone?
Oh, it's
and then
integrated now?
Yep, they just
Oh, I
announced it.
gotta do
And
that.
Siri is now going to know so much about you.
Whoa.
It's using, so once you update, if you have the 15 and you update, it's different than if you have like a 14 or 13 or prior, but it knows all of your text messages, all of your photos,
What?
all of your browser history. So it can, all of your scheduling. So it is a next level assistant. And the fact that it is now going to integrate with OpenAI
Dude.
is going to take things to a whole
I've seen
nother level.
people, they don't even answer their emails anymore. AI does it.
I saw that post there on the account that people are getting dummy phones for that same reason, because they don't want social media, they don't want technology, they want to simplify things, they want a simpler life.
Crazy.
Yeah, social media detoxes. People are doing that more than ever. Is just like cutting out social media and technology for days, weeks, months because they need a break.
There's a lot of industries it'll impact. I think for someone like you, you'll be pretty good though.
Yeah.
Because you have so much just hands-on talent that it'd be almost impossible to.
Yeah, creatives I think will continue to thrive. Creative artists, there's only so much that AI can actually take away from us. We're always going to need culture, always going to need creativity. Right now it's struggling. There's certain things that it can't do, but I'm using it to as much as I can to my advantage.
Dude, I'm using it to like find podcast guests in new cities. I'll be like,
Yeah.
I'm going to Miami. Give me a list of 50 interesting guests that live here. And that's how I plan my guests out.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow.
I'll literally say, give me the 50 most viral guests here. It'll go on YouTube, see who gets the most views. Give me a list of 50 people.
Has anyone done a podcast with AI?
Probably.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's advanced enough yet.
Be an interesting conversation. I did see a video of the two people that were having the AIs talk to each other, and they didn't know they were talking to each other.
Interesting.
It was a fascinating video where they couldn't. They were just discussing random things about each other. The 4.0, the newest version, is on another level.
Yeah.
Especially with language
Yeah, I
and
just bought it.
translating language. It's going to make things so easy when you go to foreign countries and you just give someone another earbud and you could just have a full-on conversation with them because it's just constantly translating the conversation for you.
I can't wait for that because now we could go to whatever country we want and do business.
Yeah.
Because right now, language barrier.
Yeah.
So we're segmented.
Language barrier is one thing, but intercultural business is a whole nother thing. I think that's one thing that people don't actually fully understand is you go to a different country, they do business a whole lot different here than they do in China. In China, it's all about getting to know people. You don't talk about business until the last part.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
They want to build trust. They want to get to know you. Intercultural business, the class that I took was fascinating because you understand it's like here in the US, it's like just straight to it. It's like
Facts.
it's like dating. It's like, but not you just skip the date and you just go straight to the bedroom in business here. Where they're like, let's slow down. Let's get to know each other. Let's date a little bit. And then we'll talk about business in the end. Once we can establish that they can trust each other. And that's so special and I think more people are kind of starting to pick up on that today than ever is using their intuition to kind of see if the people that they're wanting to do business with actually has like good intentions or what they are, and just not cutting straight to the chase.
I wonder if AI can predict the next art trends. That'd be interesting, right?
I don't know if it could. Art is so subjective,
Right.
but I do think that maybe, there is obviously it's going to continue to get smarter and aggregate more and more data and information. I think as a big data machine, it will be able to analyze like sites like Artsy and ArtNet and track sales and history and see who's doing well, what are the search results, what are the cues, Google this, that, and be able to figure out who could be the next artist that can rise up.
Yeah.
So I think we're probably just a few years away from that.
Crazy. There's a lot of really smart people that think AI might take over the world.
I mean, Elon Musk definitely does.
He tweets it a lot, right?
Yeah, he's concerned.
Yeah. He was pissed with Apple integrating with OpenAI, right?
Yeah, he said that he's going to not allow employees to have iPhones that work at Tesla, SpaceX, all of his companies.
Tough life, man. I love my iPhone.
You don't work for
I'm
Musk.
on it 8 hours a day. I
Yeah.
looked at my screen time. I'm like, holy crap. But I'm working on it, so it's different than most people 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
It's just consumption.
Well, for you, it's a little different. You're not consuming. You're creating.
Yeah.
It's a part of your business.
I'm networking, creating, fostering relationships.
Yeah.
I'm never consuming, actually. Or if I am, it's to seek out a interesting guest or something.
Yeah. So I think the context in that situation is everything. If you were just sitting there scrolling and swiping and just wasting time, absolutely.
I'd be depressed because I used to do that when I was in college.
Yeah.
And I was depressed.
I mean, a lot of people, they try to understand the work, and I describe it as when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing that you think about? It's your phone, social media.
Facts.
It's not, I need water, I need oxygen, I need to get some sunlight, I need the elements. These are the things that we're addicted to. These are the elements of today. It's coffee, it's sex, it's money, it's hustle. These are the things that are driving us, the elements, and you create these reactions of all these things together, and it becomes who we are.
Absolutely. Talk to me about Freeport.
Freeports. Well, Freeports are like the greatest museums that no one can visit. They are these little tax havens, almost like purgatory for art, where, like, for example, there's a Freeport. Most famous one is probably in Geneva. It has over 1.2 million art pieces that are just currently being stored there.
Wow.
And if there's an art piece there and I buy it and I sell it to you, I won't get taxed, you won't get taxed, as long as it stays there. And if you sell it to the next person, it won't get taxed.
Interesting.
So it's a little loophole in the art world where people can find ways to avoid sales tax, avoid income tax, avoid capital gains tax. And the benefit isn't just art. It's wine, it's gold, it's diamonds, it's anything valuable Freeports can hold. It's kind of like this in-between. So, but once it goes from the Freeport to your house, that's where that person is going to have to claim and make some money.
So then you have to claim income tax. But if you're just doing it as an investment, it makes sense.
Yeah. There's Singapore, Delaware, Luxembourg are some famous ones. But I mean, you can only imagine the type of work that's in there. It's some of the best work is just hidden in crates.
Interesting. How does the art differ from country to country?
Culturally, there's obviously a lot different. In some of like the main, market countries, your Londons, your Italy's. Over in Europe, historically, there's such a great rich history of iconic fine art and Renaissance art. I think not enough people actually do a good diligence on studying art history, especially in like the fine art space. Here, we're focused on like a little more new art. We do have an appreciation of it, but it's contemporary is what's cool right now. There's, people go into museums like the Metropolitan Museum in New York, and it's a lot of old art. They have no idea who the people are on the wall. So I actually thought of this idea, and I'm trying to come up with a contemporary art museum that I'm using to create these contemporary pieces that are a twist. So it's juxtaposing the present and the past. But country to country, it all varies. And house to house, it's all subjective. I mean, someone that goes into one place might just want art that's purely decoration.
Right.
Some other person might want to have artwork that's very provocative. So it's all case by case, country by country.
Absolutely. I saw here Disney gave Robin Williams a multi-million-dollar Picasso painting.
the story of that's quite fascinating because Robin Williams, he was at the top of his acting career when Disney approached him to do the voice of the genie for Aladdin. And at the time, they were just getting started in like their animation for cartoon movies. And they were not making any money off of, you know, merchandising through games and toys or theme park stuff. So they go to him and they had obviously other options, and they offered him $75,000, which was a huge haircut from what he would normally get paid. He agreed with under his agreement that they would not, I think there was some restrictions around merchandising and toys and all this stuff. Long story short, the movie crushed it. It was their biggest box office. They expanded to the theme park stuff. Toys took off. Aladdin was the biggest movie in the 90s.
Yeah.
And really put them in a whole trajectory for like Disney and theme parks. It was the biggest growth period for them after that movie. Because he kind of got a little frustrated and made a lot of noise and ruffled some feathers because rightfully his agreement was not the best. And so they sent him a $1 million original Picasso painting as a gesture to say thank you for, which is it's a nice gift.
Thanks for making us 500 million.
Yeah.
Here's $1 million.
Yeah, exactly. Here's the little $1 million. And who knows what that piece is worth now, especially with that story.
Yeah.
It's a cool piece.
Oh, yeah, I wonder if he kept it.
His family probably has it. R.I.P.
Yeah,
Robin.
that's a sad story.
Yeah,
man.
I know.
Especially knowing that one movie where, what was that movie where kids were killing themselves and he was like the teacher?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just after seeing that and then it actually happened. Crazy, right?
Yeah, not a lot of people know he had a love for coke.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have never expected that.
He had his issues with substance abuse.
Wow.
Yeah, and
some demons.
Yeah, and people don't know that exactly. People have their demons. You look at him and you think, this guy is funny, he's happy, he's successful, he's a great artist, and literally leading as an artist in the acting space in Hollywood at the time. But he had his skeletons in his closet, and one of them was coke.
Dude, you and I know a lot of public figures, and oftentimes they have a lot of mental issues or demons or whatever.
Yeah. I think that's what people need to actually be more open and communicate, the conversation about mental health and awareness through addiction, through therapy. And there's so many options today where people can get help and seek help.
Yeah.
It's a serious thing. The Instagram versus reality, the perspective of how people view things is shockingly different. And people need to invest more into their mental health and do the smallest things. I mean, I had the pleasure of meeting Gary Brecka, who I know is one of your guests, and he's fucking brilliant. And I asked him at Damon's Mastermind, what are a couple things that these entrepreneurs can do that are free, that can help them with the stress that comes with being an entrepreneur? And you could obviously rewatch this episode. He preaches it all the time, or any of his content, which is get sunlight, do breath work, get into a cold shower or cold plunge, ground yourself, touch the earth, get good sleep, which is like seems like it's common sense, but no one actually takes the time to build some of these habits into their life, which is going back to the elements of the periodic table: oxygen, water, the earth, the electrical charge of the earth, that are all these things that can actually help us and give us a little bit of a balance in our day to day, which is so needed.
Absolutely. Daniel, anything you want to close off with?
No, had a great time. Enjoy the art. Anyone that is interested in wanting to learn more about me, I'm just on Instagram. This is addictive. DanielAllenCohen.com. Daniel Allen Cohen on Instagram.
Perfect. We'll link below. Thanks for coming on, man.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed that one. I will see you tomorrow.